Greetings, geeks and nerds. I'm Lazy Universe and I'm White and Nerdy, and it's been 6 months, not years, that I've last talked about a manga, and I apologize so freaking much for having that be the case. And the reason only is because I think I got sidetracked with a bunch of other things that I somehow forgotten my promise that I made to you guys, and yeah. So I did talk about going back and looking at Akira Toriyama's work, and this is Dragon Ball, which he started and created at the age of either 16 or 18. And something that I will say right here before I get into the manga itself is that Toriyama didn't know what to do with Dragon Ball at first. Before it became the cult classic Dragon Ball Z, his first stepping stones with Dragon Ball here was actually very different. In fact, he even admitted it in the first volume that he didn't know what direction that he wanted to take it. He didn't know if he wanted an action adventure series, if he wanted to make it a comedy series. He had no idea if he wanted it to be action fantasy. He had no idea whatsoever, which makes sense. The guy was only 16 to 18 years old when he first did this. And, even I can admit, because I used to draw and write my own comic books when I was a kid, that, yeah, sometimes keeping just one idea for a run of a series or whatever is almost impossible because you're going to change something up eventually. And it's great to see like some still creators, like the creator of Naruto, the creator of One Piece, Akira Oda, like they still had the same idea going forward. The only thing is with Oda is that if he wants to do something different, he just has the One Piece crew travel to a different island and then he can experiment with something different. But with Dragon Ball, a lot of people might know it more as the fighting action series from Dragon Ball Z, in which me too. But I was also curious at one point to go back and check out the original Dragon Ball, which I have here. And also, the reason why I'm doing this is to prevent myself from being castrated, and it's not very pleasant. I hope that you understand that. Review the manga, or something bad will happen to you. You kept people waiting for 6 months. How do you think that people would even appreciate what you're doing anymore if you don't keep up with your promises? So cop to it, Hopalong Cassidy. He'd been nothing but wonderful company all weekend. Please send hope. Anyways, let's take a look at the original Dragon Ball, and just to let people know, just a warning ahead of time, I am not going to show every single individual page because the original Dragon Ball had some nudity into it, so apologies in advance. But I will be avoiding doing that here because, well, I don't want to get this video flagged for one thing, and also I don't, just in case, want to get angry emails or comments from parents saying, how dare you show this to my child where there is nudity on the screen. Oops. So, warning in advance, I will be avoiding those pages. If people want to go and see how that would have looked, easy, just buy the book. It's very cheap. Just buy the book and read it yourself. So, with that all said and done, let's take a look at Akira Toriyama's rise to stardom and what made him famous, although Dragon Ball Z would eventually rise that fame even more so. But let's take a look at his original works with Dragon Ball. By the way, I'm going to admit something. I love the first volume of Dragon Ball. This is very, very nice. It had Goku riding on top of Shenron, the nice orange coloring, and even the back is very nice too, with Goku flying on Kito-Un. So, again, really great and imaginative stuff. And as I'm going to point out here, yeah, Akira Toriyama says the setting of Dragon Ball had sort of a Chinese feel to it, but not necessarily China. It is exactly where it takes place is uncertain. The overall story is simple, but I like to keep making up more or less illustrations as they go along. This way, I can draw anything I want to and enjoy the tension and excitement of figuring out what I'll draw next. Akira Toriyama from 1985. Anyway, the story begins with a mysterious child with a monkey tail named Goku, who suddenly runs into a young woman named Bulma, and from here, the story takes off. As Goku, yes, Goku, tried to fight Bulma's car by actually calling it a demon, and that Bulma cannot stop because she doesn't want to hit the child, and the child decides to fight it on with the bow staff. You can imagine in real life how this would go. Anyway, Bulma tells Goku, because he has a Dragon Ball, all about the Dragon Balls, and if you collect them all, then you can summon a powerful dragon and make a wish with it. So the original concept of the series takes off within relatively the first 30 pages. The story just gets right into it, with Bulma and Goku on their way and on their merry adventure to find the 7 Dragon Balls, summon Shenron the Dragon, and make the powerful wish because of a powerful genie dragon. This is when Bulma notices something strange while she's giving Goku a bath one night. She suddenly realizes that the boy has a tail. The tail cannot be removed for the life of him, and even Goku doesn't fully understand what his tail is, which leaves Bulma in confusion just what is the boy of Goku. Ah, so for some people that don't know, Goku is actually a reference to 3 characters. One probably more so than the other 2, but maybe I'm reading too far into this thing. So Goku having a tail, a magical flying cloud, and a magic bow staff is actually a reference to one of the most famous Chinese fantasy tales ever, from east to west. And if you have heard that tale, there is good likelihood, because Goku is based on the mystical Sun Wukong. Yeah, no joke. Goku is based off of the legendary Monkey King or Sun Wukong, which I think is pretty damn awesome if you read from east to west. And Goku later in life, or later in Dragon Ball Z, would act even more like Sun Wukong. So yeah, I can see the comparisons, and it's pretty cool. For a legendary character to become even more legendary in the face of manga and anime, yeah, that's pretty damn cool and pretty damn awesome to have, especially for Akira Toriyama. Now again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, and maybe Toriyama and the Monkey King have no comparison. But there are 2 other characters that I would easily like to throw into the mix. With the last one that I really think that Goku is mostly based on, I think I'll save him towards the end of this video and kind of draw my own comparisons. But more on that later. Let's jump back into the manga, shall we? So, something else that you will notice right off bat. Goku has a pretty unique fighting style. Not in just that he carries around a bow staff and uses a bow staff to fight, but the fact that he does use a unique fighting style. He even and this is where probably Gon from Hunter x Hunter got his fighting style from. Because as you can see, Goku uses rock, scissors, paper just like Gon does in Hunter x Hunter. And this is where they even meet the old master of everything, Master Roshi, the one that would become a staple of the series and the one that would teach Goku everything that he had to know. And according to the manga, it was Roshi that gave Goku Kido-un. That's kind of wrong if you know the story of the Monkey King, but I guess that we can have everything. And also, Master Roshi was the original Pervy Sage before the other Pervy Sage, Jiraiya from Naruto. So if you're wondering where Naruto got his inspiration from, it was probably from Dragon Ball. So, like I said, their journey is mostly consistent of dragging into Dragon Balls while fighting people on the way, something that Toriyama could basically admit and appeal to, which, as you can see, there's a bunch of things that end up happening inside of Dragon Ball that kind of have no connection to one another, which again makes sense because of Toriyama's very first manga. Like, for example, there's a warrior that looks like he can come without a muscle, or ultimate muscle, that just challenges Goku to a fight. There is no reason for him to be here, otherwise then yeah, the 2 of them are fighting. And as you can see, Goku does have a very unique fighting style, which could probably be in reference to one very famous person. Yes, maybe perhaps Goku's magical fighting style might be in reference with the famous and legendary martial artist Bruce Lee, but again, I'm probably pulling comparisons out of thin air. If Goku can be based off of an already Chinese superhero, why can't he be based off the most legendary Chinese superhero of all time and on film screen? Also, did you know that Yamcha was originally one of Goku's villains? I know that a lot of people probably are going to say, well, Piccolo would too. Well, yeah, but Yamcha was the first villain of Goku. When you think about all the great Dragon Ball Z villains, Frieza, Majin Buu, Cell, do you ever think of Yamcha? I mean, just really? And very similar to what I said, because the tone is so different, you can definitely see a bunch of different tones in Dragon Ball. Does it want to be a comedy, action adventure, action fantasy? The truthful is that Akira Toriyama basically admitted that he was making up things as he goes along, which, again, makes sense for the manga that this is. So, yeah. I mean, it really does show that one creator can create something and make it very famous along the way, which makes sense because this was Kuriyama's very first stepping stones, and he wouldn't begin to basically notice what he's doing until towards the end of the series, especially when Chi-Chi gets brought into the picture. The first thing that she tried to do is kill Yamcha. So Chi-Chi was trying to do the thing that a bunch of people, probably Yamcha haters out there, wanted to do for Yamcha the first minute they saw him. With the first volume ending, noticing that, yes, Goku would eventually meet his future wife Chi-Chi as children, which is kind of adorable that they loved each other from childhood until now, which is pretty awesome, and he gets to meet Chi-Chi's father. Dragon Ball fans can feel free to put his name in the comments down below because I have forgotten them. And as he points out that he's very worried about Chi-Chi, and also that the guy here is looking for his master and he doesn't know where he is. Maybe Master Roshi, or maybe somebody else like Master Puran. Now the thing is, Dragon Ball is very decent. It had some very good artwork and some kind of confusing story before Volume 2 kind of picks up the book and even carries on the path of where this series is going, even for the most part. So if you're expecting something like Dragon Ball Z, you're not going to get it here. And the only reason why I didn't go into detail about what was going on, aside from them collecting the Dragon Balls, is that, well, this book, because again, not to sound like a broken record, this was Toriyama's first work, the tone is all over the place. So if you're expecting a very single story, you're not going to get that. You're going to be very confused unless you just remember that they're going to find the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron. And yeah, this was, again, Toriyama's first work, something that he created at the age of, I believe, 16, which, you know, for a lot of 16-year-olds, sometimes their brains are not always upstairs, and at least mine wasn't. Yeah, I was a very imaginative 16-year-old person, especially, like I said, drawing and creating my own comic books at a young age, and especially trying to get myself out there in the world on YouTube at the time. This was definitely, you know, for a 16-year-old first work, pretty damn good. I do like the artwork, and again, the story is kind of confusing, but you know where it's going. So that's the only reason why I didn't, is because if you actually read Dragon Ball, it's a little confusing to follow the plot up until it really starts to get going, I feel, in the second volume. So, and if people are wondering if I'll review Dragon Ball Z, maybe. And I promise that probably either next month or in July, I will pick up Volume 2, which I already have in my collection, and I'll review that as well. So there is one more character I wanted to pull similarity towards with Son Goku, and the similarities are actually pretty important to kind of recognize. That Goku shares a lot of similarities with one of my favorite all-time superheroes. And maybe it's just me, or maybe Toriyama was a fan of him. I see a lot of Superman and Goku. And with honest to God enough good reasons. And not only just because they're survivors of a lone planet and that Goku is a Namekian while Superman is a Kryptonian, and yes, I remembered. There are a few other ways that you can compare Son Goku to that of the legendary and mighty Superman, and that they were both raised by kind and wonderful people. They were both raised to do the kind of respectable thing, and, well, yeah, they both had to become more powerful the more that they faced off against villains. So when people talk about the Dragon Ball versus Goku, or Goku versus Superman, I'm sorry, death battle, I have to sit right there and go, the way how I see it, because of how much that the two of them went up against each other, they will always be similar to each other in a lot of ways, which makes it cool for me as both a comic book and a manga fan that I still can look up to Goku and see him wearing Superman's emblem aside from his own emblem, which can bring people peace, joy, and happiness. So, do I really think that Goku and Superman could be one and the same? I honestly do. I mean, if you stop and think about it, with the challenges that both characters endured, yeah, both characters would honestly be exactly one and the same, but in different universes. Both had to try to become stronger, or as strong as they can, so both could eliminate the enemies that were harming civilization or humanity or even their friends and family. Also, both characters got killed and brought back to life, and it's even cool to see it happen, especially in both. Both of them named their son after their father figure. Jonathan Kent, Superman's son, is named after Superman's adopted father. Gohan, Goku's son, is named after his master, aka his father figure. So you should check out Dragon Ball if you can and draw your own comparisons here, as I see that Goku can definitely be as famous and rise up to his fame and stardom, which he already has, but still, like the legendary Sun Wukong, Bruce Lee, and the immortal Superman. So, am I free to go now, or are you really going to harm me because I got some other things to do, man? Will this keep you preoccupied until at least I review the second volume or any other manga by this point? Well, I can admit that, no, my hunger isn't severed. Why don't you review this next and confuse the hell out of people because this is so much better than this. So, why don't you review this next time that you see the people and make them happy? Oh no, I don't mean just the first volume, then the second volume, then the third volume. I mean the whole entire kit and caboodle. So, appease my thirst and hunger even more and review this entire fucking thing. Or else. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. And pick up Dragon Ball yourself. And if you have read Dragon Ball, then let me know if it is one of your favorite mangas that you've read. Not Dragon Ball Z, I'm talking the original. And also, if you feel so inclined to respect and remember the great Akira Toriyama, let me know what your favorite series by him is in the comments down below. Is it Dr. Swamp? Is it Dragon Ball? There is another one that he did with like a cyborg. I cannot remember for the life of me what that one was. Or is it something that I haven't heard about? So thank you guys so much for watching. Next time, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I think that I might go back and revisit something that I should give a more proper review. Just throwing it out there. So I might go back and revisit an older video of mine and do it some better justice than I did last time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Lazy Universe. I'm White and Nerdy. Keep eking on. And as always, this has been a Lazy Universe comic or manga review. And thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, guys, take care.